Today I'm going to show you how to turn a bottle stopper. I started by marking the centres and then started to turn the square profile into a round stock. This didn't take very long, as you can see. I was using American cherry here, which I particularly like working with. I used a round scraper to get the square stock into round stock, and then I used my skew for everything else. I turned a tenon onto the end just for practice. Even though I'm not actually going to be using it, I thought I might as well give it a go. And then I used the skew to get the whole of the profile to be nice and round. It's much easier using a skew because, well, it's a good tool to learn with. And I used the round scraper a lot, so I wanted to try something different. For those of you that don't know, I recently started a website, and today I did my first ever blog. So I would really appreciate if you would go and have a look at that. I'll put a link to it in the description below. Also, I've recently created a Facebook, so I'll also link that in the description below. Thanks, guys. I then used a pencil to mark on the areas that I would need to remove. I was measuring up against the bottle opener, so I would be really accurate when I made this. I also used calipers here to help with that. I don't often use calipers, but it's a good learning experience and something that I think you should all have a go with. This is my very poor attempt at me trying to sketch out what I wanted the bottle opener to look like. I'm really glad it didn't turn out like this because it would have been really poor. As you can see, I'm not an artist, hence why I'm trying to learn CAD at the moment so I can at least show some of my projects before I actually make them. I used my calipers to measure the diameter of the bottle opener, and then I marked those on with a pencil. I then used a skew to get them to the right dimensions. Presented the skew at an angle less than 90 degrees, as this ensures I get a nice cut. I then moved the tool rest a little bit closer so I could get a nicer cut, and then I did the same process again, taking a nice shallow pass with the skew to remove some of this excess material. I ensured I referred to my caliper dimensions so that I didn't make this too small or too big. To say these calipers are really good. They were only a cheap set of free calipers from Amazon. I think they're about £5-6 and they're manufactured by Toolzone. They came with some other calipers which I haven't yet tried, but if you want to see me use those, post it down in the comments and I'll give them a go. When I reach 1,000 followers on Instagram, I will be doing a live stream for about an hour or so where I'll go and do some workshop tour stuff, make some projects, anything you guys want. So if you want to see that happen, help me get to 1,000 followers and then we'll have loads of fun on Instagram, make some videos on there, and you can just see what I'm doing. So here I'm using my skew chisel to start to make these beads. So I was just having a bit of fun really, but I like the look of this a lot, so I decided I was going to continue with it. So I'm just using a skew chisel to refine this shape now. I then used the skew chisel again, but presented it at more of an angle so that I could start to round over the edges of each of these beads. This didn't take too long, but it really enhanced the look of this, and I was really happy with it. I'm sorry for the shaky camera here, but I was using a piece of wire to burn in this line. I like burning stuff into wood because I think it makes a really nice contrast to the colour of the wood here. I used the skew chisel just to round over these edges even more because this created a better profile. I then made these recesses slightly deeper by digging in a bit deeper with the skew. As you can see, I'm raising the skew upwards, so I start at a low angle so the skew isn't actually cutting, and then raise it up so it starts to cut the surface of the wood. I'm sanding here with 180 grit, and then I went all the way up to 400. I then rounded over the bottom of the last piece of the bead because that one hadn't been rounded properly, so I just went back and did it. I then sanded with 400 grit again just to make it really smooth, so when I applied the oil it would be really nice. I then applied a coat of Chestnut Products Food Safe Finish, using a lint-free cloth to ensure I didn't get any horrible marks on it. I then buffed it using another clean lint-free cloth, and after that I used my Excalibur tenon saw to part them off the lathe. I had already slightly parted it off the lathe, but I'm not particularly confident with parting at the moment, and I don't have the skill to do it yet, so for the meantime I'm just using a tenon saw to cut it. As you can see, I used my vise to help me with this. I used a 6mm brad point bit to make a pilot hole in this. I then drilled it out again with a 7mm drill bit, which I later realised was actually too small. As you can see here, I unfortunately cracked it, which was really sad, but I then drilled it out with an 8mm drill bit, which was the right size, and re-threaded the bottle opener. It was already quite a tight fit, so I didn't bother applying any glue to this. Despite the small crack, I was really happy with how this turned out, and I'm definitely going to have another go at making another one soon. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more woodworking content.